Do you have what it takes to make an intraday or a one-day overnight trade to make over $100,000? That and our game plan coming up on the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Melnick, and I will be taking you through the Newsbeat Show. Here we have our famous episode number 5, and hopefully we will one day celebrate episode number 500 as we keep trying to go with this show. And to be honest, I don't even know what full direction I'm going with it. Like, I'm going to talk about a lot of things that professional traders have to go to, and I'm going to use the example of a forex trade that we put on. But keep in mind, it could be any trade. It could be an Apple, an Amazon, a Tesla, and I want to see if you have what it takes to make $100,000 in one day, and if you could deal with the psychology behind it. So I'm going to show you a trade right here. And we're going to start off here with the US dollar Swiss. And I'm going to basically, again, this is my first psychology episode. I might do more if you guys like it. If I see more thumbs up, I'll do more of them. If I see less, I'll do other things. There's so much to do in trading, right? I want to use the example of the US dollar Swiss franc, a trade that we threw in. And a lot of you came in and a lot of you were saying like, wow, Mark, like, I threw $1,000 risk on it. I'm up 2,500. Some of you guys threw on my risk, and there was somebody who took the exact same trade as me with more size than initial, but less than what I take overall. They basically took 20 standard lots. And pretty much the dude made 15 grand, and I was talking to the dude, and it's somebody who's just literally watching here, who just literally plugged in my entry, my take profit, and my stop loss level. And with that being said, I will be sharing with you my new Forex orders, of course, at the end. But I want to talk about the psychology of, do you have what it takes to make $100,000 on a trade? So first, I'm going to use an example of two students that I've trained, that took my education. I haven't mentored them, but I've trained them. And basically, one student, I think I mentioned her the other day. Husband works for Pfizer. She's an at-home she's an at-home day trader, and she has dogs. Her husband goes out to work. She stays home and trades, and she's trying to make money and whatnot. So she was able to fully capitalize on this trade. And now here I have another lady who took the trade, and she ended up taking not as much risk, but she wasn't able to fully capitalize. She made like a little bit of money after being down a lot. So pretty much this is what happened. If you go back to our actual trade, we pretty much tried buying the stock. In this case, it's a Forex. It doesn't really matter if it's Forex or not. We bid 0.93453, which is basically a little underneath here. Pretty much out here, I'll draw a straight. You know what? I'm just going to draw it in paint right now because I'm going to make it interactive. And this is going to teach you such a deep lesson on psychology. I recommended this. I had all the big players, they're all signing on tonight and watching as well because I told them they should. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to draw it out for you what happened here. So pretty much, I'm going to strike a yellow line. Pretty much we were buying it. We were buying it like right over there. Buying it right over there. And you could see there was a lot of red tail here that went on. So during this red tail, when this Forex was trading right at the bottom of the day, I still didn't have my stop loss. My stop loss was still underneath. I could have lost more money. This is what I was down. I was down about 47.5 in the trade overall throughout, all my accounts in total. I was down about 47,500. Okay. I'm not used to losing 47,500 on a trade that I have no emotions towards, no fundamental analysis towards, and I'm going to explain to you why that's important, and no feelings towards whatsoever. Because it's funny when people talk about psychology. I was listening to some of my colleagues and some other traders and a lot of friends of mine. They talk about psychology. Why doesn't anybody actually talk about a real situation instead of all the garbage? You know how easy it is for me to come to you and say, "Oh, are you tired of losing more money on your trades than you make? Do you lose 2x or 3x on a trade when you're wrong and make X when you're right? Are you tired of getting stopped out?" Like, that is just such a broad chunk of garbage, and it's disgusting. Like, no, oh my God, he must be talking about me because 99% of traders are losing money. And oh my God, I just talked about every single person who is down money in an account trying to get their stuff green, and I just literally categorized you in a huge basket. But nobody actually talks about the trials and tribulation of the psychology. They say you have to remain disciplined, you have to do this, you have to follow your rules, you have to. Thanks. Thanks. If it was that easy, everyone would be successful. 50% or more of people would be successful. There's a ton of advice on trading setups out there and everywhere. Some of it is good, most of it is bad, but none of it impacts your trading as much as your own trading psychology. So why not actually follow a trader who's putting up some form of a number, not the lowest, not the highest, somebody who's making big, has big days and big down days. And why don't we embrace the moment where I'm looking at a P&L down almost 50 grand? Why don't we embrace that moment? Thousands of years ago, surviving in the state of nature did not require long-term thinking, assessing probabilities and managing risk or handling drawdowns. Instead, it required immediate action. Oh my God, saber-toothed tiger, run or throw your spear at it. It's not, well, let's see here. The saber-toothed tiger is mad. I don't know if he's hungry. If he's hungry, he might charge at me, and then I would. You think that's what happens? It's completely instinctual at that point, and so is trading in a lot of avenues, and that's why traders have difficulty. So I'm here to really drop you what's actually going on with psychology, not the garbage you've been hearing everywhere else, but a real situation and a real trade, what it felt like. I'm going to actually tell you my feelings of what it felt like. So I'm down 47,500. It's a little more. I'm rounding down just a little. It's less than 50, okay? And I'm watching this thing, and I'm looking at my stop loss, and I am just so off on my entry because I'm down that much. For me, you hear the stories of, oh my God, how was he so exact and precise with that Forex entry? I have those trades, and they're lovely, and I love every part about them. Now I'm walking into a trade, and now I'm down 47.5. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, I have many options here. Do I throw it away? Do I double in? Or do I just hold it versus the parameters I set prior? The fact that I was watching this trade made it more of an emotional attachment. Is it a mistake? No, but we're going to discuss how I handled it, how I could have made a lot more money if I decided to not throw it away. Even though it was wrong in this case, embrace your small losses and small gains in the market. In my experience, my professional experience, when something is not going the way you're hoping for it to go, you can generally tell right away. Dealing with losses is emotionally the toughest thing that you must deal with as a trader. Losses impact our emotions. When we take a big loss, are in the midst of a five-figure drawdown, or getting stopped out of a stock that immediately reverses and ends up hitting our planned target. The loss trigger leads to revenge trading. How many of you guys revenge trade? Micromanaging, poor decision making, and a number of other trading psychology pitfalls. Fix the loss trigger by embracing small losses and small gains. Remember that small losses and small gains means you're doing something right. You're sticking to proper risk management. You know that these losses mean nothing if they are sandwiched by some bigger wins. So, when I was watching this trade and I saw it go down, I was like, I was stuck at a dilemma. Part of me wanted to say, I'm still up so much more money overall in my Forex. Let me just chop this, let me just hemorrhage this loss off. It definitely didn't do what I planned. But you know what? I continue to hold because I told myself this. There's a reason why I put my stop loss there. I'm not attached to the actual number. I need to ignore the number as best as I can because otherwise I'm going to do something emotional like throw it away, for example. If I don't throw it away, it could keep going down a bit more. And let's see, how much would have I been down? How much would have I been down on this trade if I actually let my stop loss hit? Let's see, my stop loss was 0.92589. So figure 0.3900 times 15. Okay. All right, I would have been down another 15 grand, 16 grand, let's say, 15, 16 grand. At that point, what's the difference, right? So I would have been down another 15, 16 grand. You know what I said? I stopped. I walked away before I was ready. I could click one button on the MT4 Trader platform, and every trade disappears. It all goes away. I lock in the loss. It's done with one click of the button. And I'm sitting there and I'm hovering my mouse over this damned button that's going to be my savior from hemorrhaging another 15, 16 grand. The stock obviously didn't do what I want because I bought it. I thought honestly, I'm looking at the chart again. I would buy it here 100 times out of 100 times. I thought I did a good entry. This time it didn't work. So if things are not going the way you planned, what happens? So I was ready to click the button. I'm sitting there. I'm like playfully cursing. I'm not like, oh, F this and F that, F this, F that. I'm like, oh man, what the F is happening with this? More of like one of those things. And that's what's going through my head. And what I did was I stepped away. I used the bathroom. I got a glass of water. I came back and I said, you know what? These are the type of risk parameters that I have been taking the entire time in my Forex account. The majority of my trades win. That's a fact. I am emotional right now because I'm watching it. The people who actually made the most money on this trade were the people who were not watching it, said it, went to work, and came home up a lot of money. For me, what I did was I actually threw it away when I was up. I ended up making about $4,700 on the trade, and if I ended up holding it, I would have made over 60 grand on the trade. So think about that. I'm down 45. I would have made over 60 if I just ignored it and didn't do anything and just let my take profit level hit. Think about that. So let me show you on the 5 minute because it's an important trade. And like, again, I tell you guys this all the time and I mean it. I will highlight trades that I feel are important. That includes the losing trades. How many traders are sitting talking about a losing trade for the past, X amount of minutes? Traders don't do that. They say, oh, I like this setup. These are setups I trade. This is a trade I made. This is how much money I made on this trade. But they don't come and they don't tell you the psychology, and everybody out there wants to emulate it. They're like, damn, I wish I had a 5,000, 10,000. Crap, some of $1,000 day would make, someone's day right now. Let alone a $5, $10, $15, $20,000 day. And everyone comes in, they want to emulate it. But nobody talks about the psychological tribulations that are required to make that money. So, what happened here? Stock fell. I call it a stock. It's a Forex. Really, it's the same stuff. It's a symbol with a chart. Started climbing up here. When it came up right over here, I sold it. I got to a point where I was up 4,500. For me, that's flat considering how big of a loss I was at. It wasn't a lot of money compared to what I was down. It was 10% as much as I was down, right? even a little less, like 9.5, but whatever, right? So again, I'm just telling you what I did. My finger's on the X button. It literally is a little black X, and I click it, and it literally sends orders to 14 other accounts, including my own, and then it just cancels all of them, and it's over. I got up again. I washed my face in the bathroom. I got a glass of water, and I came back. I didn't take an hour break. I didn't walk away from the position for an hour. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, just get up and walk away." That's it's half right and it's half idiotic. It's half right because if you're not in the mental state to make the right decision at that point, it's smart to walk away. It's idiotic because you're not there actually managing your position. So I walked away. Literally, it was like 2, 3 minutes when you walk away. You walk away for 2, 3 minutes. You don't, okay, I'm going to go take a jog. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. So I went and I drank some water. I splashed water on my face. I came back and I said, you know what were some of the characteristics on some of the trades where I made 50, 60 grand on? What were some of the characteristics of those trades that I made 110 grand on? What were some of the characteristics of those trades? I generally nailed in. I was down almost no money comparatively to what I was up, and the stock shot up to a take profit level and I made money. This did not fit the criteria for what has been working for me and my strategy, so I cut it off. I cut the trade off, and I thought it was the right decision. Then throughout the day, I ended up watching. Here's a 5 minute. The forex shoot right through my take profit target, which was 0.9433. It ended up hitting 0.94496, and I wanted to discuss my feelings that I did the right thing. That was the right thing for me to do. Because I'll tell you what, I was given a gift. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I was given the chance to exit a trade flat. I consider being up 4,500 overall in the trade flat, given the size I was using. I was happy enough to embrace a flat trade because I was down so much, and the trade wasn't meant to be swung for months and months and months on end. That would be a different story. This was just another Forex trade. I didn't love it. I wasn't crazy about the setup. I do the same thing day in and day out, and I make money so consistently. But in a situation like this, because I was given the opportunity not to get stopped out for a big loss, let me tell you exactly what would have happened here. Here's tip number 2. You have to think about your next 100 trades. You know, many traders live or die by their next trade. While we analyze all our trades, our overall guiding focus should not be gains and losses in the moment, but over time. Don't worry about that one loss. This leads to a recency bias where you're looking at what happened recently that will wreak havoc with your mind. Remember, in the grand scheme of trading, one loss is meaningless, including this one. Instead, think about no obsessions about the next 100 trades. This will keep you focused on the process and not short-term results. Remember, we are trading probabilities, and sometimes you will lose on good trade ideas. A drawdown does not mean you are trading poorly. Do not let good trades with poor short-term results impact your trading psychology, because that's what's going to eventually pull you out. I look back on this trade and I would do the same move. I could say right now, even watching the take profit level hit and like, oh, I could have been up so much, whatever. I don't even think that. For me, the trade didn't do what I want. I should have lost money on this trade. I was blessed. I was given a chance to scrap by, even make a little bit of money. And it was a good deal. It was a good deal. Now, if I bought the thing and I was down, a few grand and then I was up 4,500, I would have held this thing to the end and I would have crushed it. The majority of my trades, I get good entries. You guys know this. The majority of my trades, short of some international political news that sends one currency flying and the other one plummeting, I'm generally getting pretty miraculously good fills. So, in a situation where things don't go as planned, cut your losses if you're given a gift horse. Even if I got stopped out, this would not affect me. It was a good cutout. I know all of you who had to step away from work, you walked home very happy because you actually hit the take profit level, and because you probably weren't watching your account while you were at work, because you sort of set it and forget it, as I like to say, you were able to capitalize in an extremely meaningful manner. And between this and the US dollar Japanese yen, which I also threw away today, that was another trade we could have caught. That would have been my six figure, I guess, trade, but trades, because it would have been six figures in two trades. So that is the psychology of it, and I just wanted to share that experience with you for what you really have to go to. Not the garbage of what most people will tell you how a trade has to endure, but what is actually going through your mind as that is happening. As promised, I'm going to go ahead and share with you my game plan. It is a little ghetto at the moment. I'm using a notepad with Comic Sans, I think is the name of the font. So yeah, it's a little ghetto for now. We're getting it more professionally done. Oh, and for those who love that Forex trade because you ended up making money, I just want you to know the sweat and blood behind it. I guess that's what I was referring to. Here are all your new Forex orders. You could go ahead and you can hit print screen now if you wish to copy them. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat Show broadcast. Happy trading, make money. We'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.